A theory on Boa Hancock's future, next moves, bounty, etc. I've been thinking about how we're finally starting to learn about what happened in the One Piece world while the Straw Hats were still in Wano. And since we've gotten some insight into what happened with 3 of the ex-warlords already, I think it's fair to assume we might find out more about Hancock very soon. I've heard some theories on how Boa might have faced Fujitora, who is blind and technically immune to the work of her fruit, or that Kobe, who was shown heading towards the Amazon lily to capture her, blindfolded himself while facing the Kuja tribe and Boa has lost. I believe the credit for these goes to Tekking 101 and Randy Troy. However, even though these predictions might be accurate, I'm going to look at things from a bit of a different angle here and assume a slightly more optimistic scenario. First of all, I would rather assume that Boa's encounters with the Marines wouldn't end after one battle. That she would presumably win, similarly to how it was with Mihawk, who said in the latest chapter that the Marines wouldn't stop swarming his island, and he was getting tired of it. The Marines are currently set on capturing the former warlords, so they're not going to back down easily, and with all the respect I have for Boa and her tribe as fighters, I don't think they would be able to withstand the Marines longer than Mihawk did. Technically Mihawk is just one man, but he's the strongest swordsman in the whole One Piece world, capable of literally slashing ships even if it's just out of boredom. And even though Boa might be a female Chad herself and possibly even fend off the incoming Marine fleets one after another, just like Hawkeye, I'd imagine she would eventually get tired of it. This means that the Kuja tribe, or Hancock herself, will have to eventually make a move. So I've been thinking, what if she allies herself with the Revolutionary Army? She would be a valuable asset to them because she spent a few years at the Mariégeois as a former slave of the Celestial Dragons, so she might provide the Ra with insights relevant for overthrowing him, not to mention her combat skills which would be useful for the Ra as well. She might also possess some extra knowledge with regard to the world government as a now former Shibukai. Moreover, similarly to Ra, she hates the Celestial Dragons to the bone, so it would make sense for her to want to contribute to their abolishment. Another strong point to back this here would be the connection of the revolutionaries to Luffy, at least in Boa's head. Luffy's father, Monkey D. Dragon, is the leader of the revolutionaries, and Sabo, his sworn brother, is Dragon's second in command. Even though the relationship between Luffy and Dragon practically doesn't exist, Hancock, being so infatuated with the captain of the Straw Hats, would likely look at it differently. Remember how she called Garp her grandpa during the Paramount War? Hancock's first ever bounty that later got frozen due to her alliance with the WG was 80 million berries, which she had earned after only one campaign at the age of 18, and she's now 31. For comparison, Crocodile's last known bounty was 81 million berries and is now 1,956,000,000, due to his mighty logia and cunning guile, as well as the relationship with the Cross Guild, that the Marines consider an undoubtedly massive threat. Now, I feel like everything depends on whether Hancock allies herself with the Ra or not, because I don't necessarily see her joining Cross Guild nor starting a similar organization of her own. The WG has shown to have considered her a big threat, with a lot of potential, over a decade earlier already. A lot of time has passed since then and she surely has grown in power. And if she joined the Ra in one way or another, she would only strike them as even more dangerous. If she doesn't ally herself with the Ra or anyone else, I think her bounty would rise to around 800 m 900 m berries, as even though she's a dangerous individual, she doesn't seem to be actively trying to abolish the WG or pose any threat of that sort, so the bounty would be based solely on her combat skills and ability to influence others. If she does ally herself with the Ra, my guess is that it would jump up to anywhere from 1.3B 1.6B berries. I think her bounty wouldn't exceed that of Crocodile, who is a known schemer that likes to go against the WG, but it wouldn't fall too far behind either, since we're entering the One Piece endgame. I think it's not impossible, but Hancock is strong enough to take care of the Marines by herself. On the other hand, while they were parting ways, Luffy mentioned he was indebted to her, so it will likely eventually happen at some point, perhaps in the scenario where she does in fact get captured.